My name is Tom Hunt, and I am a master trainer here at Eagle Canine Academy. I'd like to spend a moment talking to you about some of the things that you should and shouldn't use with your dog, as well as some of the expectations that you should have as far as the training of your dog. Our training is the same as the AKC Canine Good Citizen course, in so much as we train your dog to be good around strangers, be good around other dogs, and to walk well on leash without pulling us or dragging behind us. Now, all of this is done by teaching your dog various obedience and companionship commands. We use heel, sit, stay, down, and come. By building up these commands and getting your dog to respond to them when given to him, we've established ourselves as the leader or alpha of our pack. Once that leadership position has been established, a lot of the dog's bad behaviors is going to start dissipating because your dog's going to follow your lead and your dog's not going to be so stressed out anymore. A lot of the other things, such as behaving well around strangers and being able to behave around other dogs, that's all going to fall right into place once your leadership position has been established. It's not something that's going to happen overnight. You need to practice with your dog every day for a minimum of 15 minutes. Now, whether that's 15 minutes all at once or 5 minutes in the morning, 5 minutes in the afternoon, and 5 minutes in the evening, that is entirely up to you. But 15 minutes really needs to be the minimum amount of time that you want to be spending practicing with your dog. If you're able to spend even more time working with your dog, by all means do that. It's going to be that much quicker that you develop good leash manners, leash mechanics, and you're going to figure out what's going to work for you as far as getting your dog to respond for you. And you're going to develop a great bond with your dog just because you're spending so much time with them. So we got to make sure we're practicing. When you're working with your dog, you need to follow the 4 key principles of leadership. They are being calm, patient, assertive, and consistent. These 4 keys will establish yourself as the alpha or leader of your pack. You need to be calm and patient. Your dog might not respond immediately when you give a command. It's important not to get yourself frustrated or anxious. Your dog is going to respond to your body language. If you become frustrated or anxious, your dog's stress level is going to go up and he's going to get anxious. And you're not going to get anything accomplished in an environment like that. So it's important to remain calm and patient. If you do find yourself getting frustrated or anxious, stop what you're doing, take a break, recompose yourself, and when you're ready, go back out and try again. You need to be assertive and consistent as well. When you give a command to your dog needs to follow through and complete that command. Don't give up halfway through just because your dog is being resistant. If you give up halfway through, that becomes a win for your dog. And now that leadership position is going to go in flux again. We want to make sure that the dog listens to us when we give a command and follows through and does that command. And we will show you throughout the training program when your dog is reluctant how to properly get your dog to respond. Now, everything that you're going to do with your dog is going to establish yourself as that leader position. But your dog is still going to have some behavior problems. Out of all the commands that we're going to teach your dog, the heel, the sit, the stay, the no, or the come, out of all these commands, the one command that your dog is going to learn, that's going to be the most important for your dog, is the no command. The no command is by far the most important command because that is the command that you're going to go to each and every time when your dog is misbehaving. So if your dog is jumping up on the furniture and you don't want that, it's going to be no, off. If he's chewing on something he's not supposed to, no chew. If he's biting someone, no bite. That's the first command you're going to go to, and then you're going to escalate from that point on. In obedience, when your dog doesn't respond to a command, you don't want to keep repeating the same commands over and over again, such as sit, 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 or down, down, down. If your dog doesn't respond to a command the first time, you're going to immediately use the no command followed by the command that you want the dog to do. So it's going to be sit, no, sit. Notice how I changed the tone of my voice. For the no, we were trying to get your dog refocused on what he's supposed to do. So it'll be sit, no, sit, down, no, down. It's important to be consistent when we do this. If we're not consistent, the dog isn't going to learn, and the dog isn't going to get better over time. Obedience training isn't something that just happens automatically, and when the dog goes home, the dog is just going to work for you. It just doesn't work that way. It takes practice. It takes daily effort every day practicing with your dog, getting your dog to respond for you. It doesn't ever end, but it will get easier over time because your dog's just going to naturally start listening. And because of the bond that you have with him, he's going to naturally do what you tell him to do. And the more time you spend with him, the better it's going to get. Now, with all the commands and stuff that we're going to do with your dog, it's important not to let yourself get ahead of the game. You want to crawl before you can walk before you can run, and run before you can sprint. So don't take your dog automatically and start trying to do off-leash stuff. It's just not going to happen. You're going to get frustrated and you're going to give up. It's just not going to work. Your dog needs to learn that he has to respond to you. So you're going to start off doing everything on leash. You're going to start off doing all voice commands. Once you've built up the confidence that the dog is responding well for you, then you're going to move into the silent commands on leash. Once you get that confidence that the dog is responding for you doing silent commands, then you can start introducing off leash. Off leash is something that's going to build up over time. It's not something that you're going to be able to just take the dog off leash and go for it. It's just not going to happen. You have to do a little bit at a time. You might get 500 feet this time with the dog going off leash for you and responding to commands. Then you build up from that until the point when you can just not put a leash on your dog and you'll be able to go out and the dog's going to stay with you no matter where you go. That's going to be a period of time which you're going to have to practice with them. Can I tell you how long that's going to take? There's no way of saying how long that's going to take. It's just all up to how much you practice, how receptive the dog is to your instruction, and how well bonded you are with your dog. I can teach your dog everything. I cannot teach your dog how to love you. That's something that you have to build up with your dog. I'd like to spend a moment showing you the proper things that you want to give your dog as far as treats and rewards. The type of treats we use for your dog are Kong toys, anything like this, anything made by Kong. They're a hard rubber toy. The dog can chew on that. You can throw some peanut butter inside the end of it, and your dog's going to play for hours. And he's not going to chew little pieces off of it. If your dog is chewing little pieces off of it, Kong has different levels of toys. They're color-coded. If your dog's chewing pieces off the red one, you want to buy the black one. The black one's a heavier duty rubber, and your dog's not going to chew, won't be able to chew as easily through it. You don't want to give your dog one of these squeaker toys. This is for a little dog. It's a real thin rubber, and in no time at all, your dog will turn around and bite little pieces off of this. He's going to get that squeaker out, and he's going to probably swallow it. And he may end up passing it, but there's a good chance that that could cause a problem for you. So we don't want to give your dog anything like that. We absolutely don't want to give your dog rawhide. If you take rawhide and stick it in a glass of water After a few hours, it's going to swell up like a sponge. And your dog, usually when he chews on it, he's going to chew little pieces off of it and swallow it. Most of the time, your dog passes it and nothing will ever happen. But because of the fact that it does swell, there is a chance that it could cause a problem. And you won't know about it till days or even weeks down the road, when all of a sudden your dog's not going to the bathroom properly, or he's not eating properly. His diet's going down, or his appetite's going down because he's not eating. That's because he might have a blockage of a piece of rawhide in his system that has swelled up and it's not passing through his intestines. So we want to stay away from rawhide. Absolutely, Nylabone. This is what we want to give your dog. They have different grades of these. You can get the gummy type. If your dog goes through it fast, then you want to stop using those. Your dog can't chew these into little tiny pieces and swallow them. What he's going to do, he's going to shave it down. It's going to get like sandpaper on the ends. After a while, when the knuckles all gone and stuff, then you can turn around and you can buy a new one for him. If he's going through one like this quickly, and I don't think your dog will, but if your dog goes through these pretty quick, then you want to step up to like a Galileo bone, which is made by Nylabone. It's the hardest bone they make. And I'll guarantee your dog's not going to go through that pretty quickly. So this acts like your dog's toothbrush. This is going to massage his gums. It's going to create that sandpaper feel on the edges. He's going to rub it against his teeth and gums, and that's going to act like his toothbrush. The rope toy, you're going to get one that's much bigger than this if you have a larger dog. But the rope toy like this is your dog's dental floss. Your dog will sit there and he'll chew and he'll gnaw away at these knots on there until it shreds completely. At that point, you take it, you throw it out, and you get him a new one. If he's going through them pretty quickly, you want to get a heavier duty one as you go along. You'll find as you go along what's the right size to get him. Sometimes they have them with little balls attached to them or little toys and stuff attached to them. You can get them, but if the dog starts going through those too quickly, you got to monitor that he's not going to swallow the pieces off of them. Once again, I'd like to reiterate that you need to be calm, patient, assertive, and consistent when working with your dog. If you do that, you will have a successful and loving companion. I wish you luck, and let's move on with the training. Heel. Good girl, Skye. Good girl. Heel. Sit. Good girl. Hi, my name is Tom Hunt Jr. and I am a master trainer here at Eagle Canine Academy. Today we're working with Skye. We're going to teach Skye basic obedience. Basic obedience is teaching your dog leash manners and verbal command response. The verbal commands we will be using is heel, sit, stay, down, and come. We will be using hand signals as well. When we move into the next stage of training, we will only be using hand signals. So we want your dog to be able to associate those hand signals for the voice commands we will be using. Those hand signals are palms up for sit, palms over your dog's head for down, palms towards you, calling your dog towards you for come, and palms away, pushing your dog away for stay. When working with your dog, you need to follow the 4 key principles of leadership: calm, patience, assertiveness, and consistency. These 4 keys will help you to establish yourself as the alpha or leader of your pack. If you find yourself getting frustrated and anxious, stop what you're doing. Take a break. Recompose yourself, and then come back out and try again. Your frustration and your anxiousness will only be mimicked by your dog, and you're not going to get anything accomplished in an environment like that. So you want to make sure that you remain calm, patient, assertive, and consistent. We ask that you practice with your dog every day for a minimum of 15 minutes. Now, whether that's 15 minutes all at once, or 5 minutes in the morning, 5 minutes in the afternoon, and 5 minutes in the evening, that's entirely up to you. But 15 minutes really needs to be the minimum amount of time that you spend practicing with your dog. If you're able to spend more time working with your dog, that's going to be even better. It's going to be that much quicker that you're going to develop good leash mechanics, and you'll find what's going to work for you to get your dog to respond to you. And you're going to develop a great bond with your dog because you're spending so much time with her. We ask that you take your time. Don't rush through your commands. Give one command at a time, wait a few seconds in between, and then move on to the next one. Don't rush trying to go from voice commands to off leash. You'll get there, but trust me, practice, you'll get there. But if you rush to get there, you're going to end up getting frustrated in the end, and that's a place we don't want you to get to. You need to build up confidence first that your dog is going to respond to you, is going to have good leash manners, walking by you, walking with you, as well as responding to hand signals or voice commands. Once your dog is responding to voice commands on a consistent basis, and you've got that confidence, step up and start just doing hand signals. Keep doing that until you've built up the confidence that the dog is going to work well for you that way as under hand signals as well. And then later on you can start trying to do off-leash work. I'd like to spend a moment to show you the proper way of holding the leash. As you can see, we have your dog on a gentle leader. We use this so that there's not as much stress on your dog's neck, and it provides the best source of control for your dog, and it has the least amount of resistance on your dog's body. The way we hold this leash is we never want to take the leash and wrap it in our hand, put it around our wrist and wrap it like this. Yes, it's a good hold and we've got a good grip on it, but if Skye was to take off after something and you weren't prepared for it, this leash is going to act like a noose around your hand and wrist, and you're not going to be able to get this off, and you're going to take a chance of getting hurt in the process. So we never want to take the leash and keep it around our wrist and hand. The way we hold it is we take our right thumb and stick it in the looped end of the leash. Then we reach over with our left hand right underneath our thumb and slide down arm's length. Now we reach down with our right hand and grab the leash where our left hand is. And now we let go with our left hand. Now we just slide back to where we're about waist high, whether that's sliding the leash this way to get it longer, or taking it and sliding it the other way to get it a little bit tighter. We have to make that decision. We only need a little bit of slack for your dog to be comfortable, and that we can control his movements the best. We don't want to have too much slack where where his movements go way out of whack for us. So now we got our hand about waist height. This is comfortable for us, it's comfortable for the dog. Now if we have to give corrections, which is just a quick snap of the leash, it's comfortable right here in front of us. Now if the dog was to take off after something and we had a hard time holding him back and we needed to let go, we can just open our hand and the leash is going to fall right off. I'd rather have you chase after your dog because you couldn't hold her back than to have a chance of you getting hurt because you had the leash on around your wrist and around your hand and you got hurt in the process. So now we have the gentle leader on, we're holding the leash properly, and we're ready to start moving with your dog. We're going to tap our side and tell Skye to heel. Heel is no more than getting your dog to walk on your left-hand side. Heel, come on. Come on, Skye. We don't want Skye going ahead of us, nor do we want Skye dragging behind us. Obedience is all about teamwork. We want Skye right along our left-hand side. We dictate the pace and direction. We don't allow Skye to do that. So if we wanted to go for a slow walk, you never want to walk this slow. But if you did, you can, knowing that your dog will stay right by your side throughout. Or if you wanted to go for a brisk walk, come on, your dog will stay by your side as well. Good boy. Good girl. Good girl. When you come to a stop, you're going to slide your hand down the leash and pull up, and Skye is going to automatically go to a sit. Consider it as like putting the brakes on the car. As you're coming to a stop, you're sliding your left hand down the leash, you pull up on the brake, and Skye is going to automatically go to a sit. Now we're going to take the leash and put it in our left hand with it still short and taut. Tell your dog to stay. Take one step, turn, and stand in front of her. Now we're going to let some of the slack out of the leash so that it hangs down, and tell Skye to down. No. Down. Good girl. Stay. The most important command we've taught your dog is the no command. That is the basis for which we're going to correct any behavior issues we run into with your dog. So when your dog doesn't respond to a command, we're not going to repeat that same command over and over again, such as sit, 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 or down, down, down. We're going to be down, no, down. In this case, I used a leash correction. I just gave a quick snap of the leash, and your dog followed through by doing what she was supposed to do. Now with our leash still in our left hand, we're going to tell your dog to sit again. I'm going to tap my side, take a step towards her, and give her the hand signal for sit. Stay. We're going to go back to full length of the leash. No. Sit. Stay. We don't want her getting up and anticipating coming to us. Stay. Come. As she comes, I want to grab the leash short and pull up when she gets directly in front of me, so she sits directly in front of me when she gets to me. Now she's sitting off to the side a little bit. I want her to sit directly this way, but because she's responding right now, I'm going to allow that. If we let the leash stay long, Skye's going to walk right past me without any idea of what to do next. So we want to make sure we catch that leash short as she's coming up to us and get her to sit directly in front of us. Now we're going to take the leash and put it from our right hand to our left, from our left hand to our right. Keep it short and taut. We're going to tell your dog to do a final heel. Final heel, we're going to tap our left side. Skye is going to walk around from right behind to the left. As she goes around, we're going to transfer the leash from our right to our left. And she's going to sit right by our left-hand side. This is a full cycle of commands. When your dog does a full cycle of commands, we're going to let her know she's done a good job by giving her plenty of praise and affection. Good girl. You're doing a great job. Good girl. This is the only treats that you need to give your dog in order to get her to respond. We don't need to use food as a means of getting your dog to respond, and we absolutely do not want to use fear. We want to get your dog to work for us because she wants to work for us, not because she has to. So we want to make sure we use plenty of praise and affection. So I'm going to go through the commands one more time. Heel. Good girl. We talk to your dog as while we're walking. Keep her engaged. If we just let her do her own thing, she's going to get distracted and she's not going to respond. Sit. Good girl. Stay. Take the one step, turn and face her. Take some slack out, give some slack to the leash. Down. Good girl. Stay. Skye. Sit. Stay. No. Stay. Come. Bring the slack up. Sit. Perfect. Good girl. And heel. Sit. Good girl. Good girl. That's a good girl. Heel. Sit. Skye has mastered the first stage of obedience, leash manners and verbal command response. We're going to give Skye a break now, and when we come back, we're going to move into the next stage of training, focus and silent command response, also known as advanced obedience. Good girl, Skye. You've done a good job. Let's give you a break now. Good girl.